Lucy Letby is accused of murdering 7 babies and attempting to murder 10 more.
Lucy Letby had written, "I am evil, I did this," on a piece of paper found in her home.
Hi everyone, thank you for clicking onto my video. My name's Emily. Now today's case is of a nurse who was accused of killing not only 8 babies but accused of attempting to take the lives of many more. Now let's just jump into it. I just want to start by saying that this is all alleged for the time being, so don't come for me. Lucy Letby was born on the 4th of January 1990 to mother Susan Letby and father John Letby. They lived in Hereford, England. Lucy attended a local high school, and from what I've come across, it seems that she had a normal childhood. Once she left school, she enrolled in the University of Chester to study child nursing. She also managed to get herself a job at the Countess of Chester Hospital, training alongside her course. She did this for 3 years before graduating and starting a full-time job in 2011. In 2012, Lucy was even the face of a campaign to raise money for a new neonatal unit, which actually raised a whopping £3 million. She claimed that she wanted to create a new unit for the space and the privacy of the parents and the siblings of the babies that were in the unit. But in my opinion, this was clearly some ploy to create some sort of quiet space, if you know what I mean. During the trial of the alleged murder and the alleged attempted murder on these poor babies, they were all referred to from Child A to Child Q. So out of respect of the families and the parents, that's what we'll be calling these precious little babies today. But this just goes to show how many lives that she is accused of taking and attempting to take. And on the evening of the 7th of June 2015, Child A and Child B had been moved to the hospital due to their premature birth. Child A had collapsed a little while after 24 hours after being born. It had been found that Lucy had taken over the care of Child A on the 8th of June, and being in their care only 90 minutes, he sadly passed away. She is accused of injecting a fatal amount of air into his bloodstream. It is believed that she herself carried Child A's body to the mortuary. She claimed it was the hardest thing that she ever had to do. No fucking comment. Dr. Ogden, who had been the other nurse who had been looking after the twins, said that Child A had showed no signs of any problems throughout the day. She also said, "He was handling well. I had no concerns for him at all, or his twin sister." She was then alleged to have come for his twin sister, and on the following night, she has been accused of attempting the same. Allegedly, Lucy injected Child B with a fatal amount of air into her bloodstream. With the twins' mother being in hospital herself, a nurse had come by and told her what was happening with her little girl, and she cried out, "Not my baby, not again." I can't even imagine how soul-crushing that was to hear. Both their mother and their father had gone to the neonatal unit where they had been told that their precious little girl had been stabilised. They had been told that she had a rapid drop in her heart rate and her oxygen levels. Also, her skin had discoloured and moulted. One consultant had said that they'd never seen it before. Her mother, obviously concerned, stayed throughout the night. She said that she was so restless, almost like she was trying to tell her something. The mother had been discharged from hospital, but had returned every day at 9 AM to see her daughter. And in July 2015, Child B had been discharged, luckily enough not suffering any consequences. It is believed that Lucy Letby didn't stop there though, and on the 14th of June 2015, Child C, who was only 5 days old and weighing 1.12 ounces, he was born at 30 weeks. He had collapsed and died just before 6 AM. Lucy had supposed to have been looking after a more poorly baby in a different room. She is accused of injecting air into Child C's stomach. This made him unable to breathe, which caused him to have a cardiac arrest and sadly died. Lucy had reportedly gone home and searched the parents up on Facebook of the baby that she just allegedly murdered. This is just fucking sick and twisted to the next level. So in the matter of days, Lucy Letby allegedly killed 2 babies and attempted and failed to take the life of another. And on the 22nd of June 2015, Child D had been brought into the hospital after she had gone floppy and discoloured in her dad's arms. She had responded to treatment until she had collapsed a second time, which Child D was crying quite badly and really distressed. The third time that this little baby had collapsed, she sadly couldn't be revived. Lucy had allegedly injected air into her bloodstream, and child D too sadly died of this sadistic nurse's actions. Allegedly sadistic nurse's actions. It is believed that Lucy had texted a few friends basically suggesting that all these children dying could all easily be explained off as natural causes, also saying that it was an element of their fate. This makes me so mad. She even had the audacity to search up child D's parents on Facebook too, and when she was asked why she did it, she said, I don't know why I did it. It sounds like Billy bullshit to me, love. Her alleged killing spree hadn't finished there though, and child E was brought into the hospital due to being under 3 pounds when he was born. He was one of twins. This time though, it had been found that Lucy had been caught in her tracks, and on the 4th of August 2015, the mother of the newborn twins had walked into the hospital to give them their milk, and she had walked in on Lucy Letby allegedly attacking her son, although at the time she didn't actually know what was going on. All she knew was that her baby was distressed and bleeding from the mouth. She apparently then tried to reassure child E's mother by saying, it's okay, it's just the tube down his throat irritating him. Trust me, I'm a nurse. The manipulating wicked witch of the hospital, abusing every power that she could. And how was this mother to know that she'd literally left her babies with the fucking devil herself? This is just my opinion, by the way, so don't come for me. Child E had then rapidly deteriorated and suffered a significant amount of blood loss. One doctor had stated that he'd never seen a baby bleed so bad, and this was because Lucy had allegedly injected air into child E's bloodstream. Less than 5 hours after Lucy had been seen with him, he too had sadly died. It is believed though that Lucy wasn't done there, as there was still child F, child E's twin. And on the 5th of August 2015, she is accused of lacing a feeding bag with insulin. This was less than 24 hours after she allegedly murdered his twin, but he thankfully survived and was discharged from hospital. It is believed that Lucy had taken a sick interest in child E and child F's parents, searching them up on Facebook multiple times, one of these times being on Christmas Day. And when interviewed by police, they asked her why she did this, and she turned around and went, I don't know, to see how the baby was. Why? What the fuck is actually wrong with you, lady? You wanted to see how the baby was that you allegedly tried to murder. She reportedly wasn't done there though. No. And on the 7th of September 2015, she is accused of attempting to take the life of child G. Child G had been born 4 months prematurely. She was originally at a different hospital, but she had been transferred to the Countess of Chester Hospital in the neonatal unit, and she was doing quite well. They even celebrated 100 days of her being here, but the next day, Lucy is accused of getting her hands on her. She is accused of feeding child G an excessive amount of milk and probably air through her feeding tube that ran through her nose. It had been reported that despite her size, she had vomited out of her cot and onto the floor and onto a nearby chair. She then collapsed and stopped breathing. She was then taken to the hospital that she was originally born in, only to return on the 16th of September. She was only safe for a few days, because on the 21st of September, Lucy had reportedly fed child G again. Lucy had done this in the morning before child G had projectile vomited twice, followed by her breathing stopping. Child G was then put on a monitor that measured her heart rate levels and her oxygen sats. But by that afternoon, a nurse had responded to Lucy's call for help, and what she noticed shook her up. Child G's monitor had been completely switched off. Child G had been physically left disabled after the first 2 attempts on her little life. The power of searching her parents up on Facebook is completely sickening to me, and Lucy is accused of searching child G's parents up on Facebook, one of the times being on the 21st of September, the day that she tried to take their baby's life and left her completely disabled. You fucking no-soul demon. It is reported that Lucy's next victim is child H, and she has been accused of attempting to take her life twice. She had suffered from 2 profound collapses on 2 successive night shifts. She had to be resuscitated by being given chest compressions and adrenaline. Child H was then transferred to a different hospital, where luckily enough her condition improved dramatically. This was before having to go back to the Countess of Chester Hospital, but luckily enough she was discharged and safe from Nurse Fuckface. I swear this whole situation just got worse and worse, and on the 23rd of October 2015, Child I had died after 4 attempts on her life had been made. The first attempt, she allegedly injected air into Child I's stomach through her feeding tube. This was just days after she was accused of attempting to take the life of Child H. The second attempt, she had been reported to be standing in the darkened doorway of Child I's room, stating that she looked pale. Her colleague had come and check on her, and when she turned the light on, they saw that Child I had been to the point of death and not breathing. She had collapsed and required chest compressions in the early hours of the 23rd of October 2015. But thankfully she was resuscitated and started to recover, even to the point that she showed signs of hunger. But less than an hour later, Child I's monitor had gone off, and a nurse had come rushing in, only to find Lucy standing by Child I's incubator. The nurse went to intervene, only to be told by Lucy that she'd be able to sort it. Child I had then collapsed and sadly died after many attempts to try and revive her was unsuccessful. An expert paediatrician who had reviewed Child I's case had come to the conclusion that her constant deteriorations were due to a large amount of air being injected into her stomach via her nasal tube. The final time she is accused of injecting air into Child I's bloodstream, which then caused her to scream out in pain before sadly collapsing and dying. The cheeky bitch had then sent a sympathy card to Child I's parents. Like, how dare you? You allegedly tortured their newborn who was in intensive care and has been accused of murdering her, you fucking demon. Only a few days after allegedly taking the life of Child I, she is accused of attempting to take the life of Child J. She had been born prematurely at 32 weeks and 2 days on the 31st of October at the Hospital of Hell, but had been transferred to a different children's hospital for an operation for a bowel disorder. Sadly, she was transferred back to the hospital where the demon nurse was on the 10th of November. Days after her arrival, her medical note shows that she was doing quite well and she was quite healthy. But that night, Lucy Letby was on shift, and Child J had collapsed without no explanation. She had 2 serious breathing problems that night, which then led her to be taken up to a high dependency room. At 6:56 a.m. on the 27th of November 2015, Child J's oxygen levels had peaked so low that she had gone into a seizure. She had gone into another seizure after Lucy allegedly had given her a glucose infusion almost minutes after being administered. She had to be resuscitated with the help of a doctor, and he said that he couldn't explain why that happened again. The medical expert that had reviewed Child J's case had some concerns that she had some form of obstruction to her airways, such as smothering. It is believed that Lucy again looked up the parents of the baby that she is accused of killing on Facebook a month later. Christmas was quiet, but this abruptly ended on the 17th of February 2016, where Child K had been born at 25 weeks, weighing only 692 grams. Considering she was born quite early, she was considered to be quite healthy, until the fucking wicked witch of the hospital had been left alone with her. About an hour and a half after she was born, they were making arrangements to transfer Child K to a more specialised hospital suited to her needs. However, one doctor had found out that Child K had been left alone with Lucy. He said that he felt uncomfortable about this, as he had his own suspicions after the amount of coincidences of the unexplained deaths and the very serious collapses that were happening, and all in the presence of Lucy Letby. He then went to find Lucy and see how Child K was getting on, only to find Lucy standing over Child K's incubator. He quickly noticed that her oxygen saturation levels were dropping dangerously low. He asked Lucy what had happened, and she said that she just started deteriorating now. Yeah, and we all know why. He also found that Child K's breathing tube had been dislodged. Now this could have happened if child K hadn't been born extremely early and sedated, preventing her from actually being physically able to do so. Later that day, Lucy again had been at the side of child K's cot calling out for help. It had been believed that child K's tube had slipped down her throat. Now I don't believe not for 1 second this would have happened without any interference from someone. However, child K had been transferred to a different hospital, but had sadly died 2 days later. Lucy was not accused of her murder. I'm not going to lie, if Lucy didn't do what she's accused of, I feel that child K would have had a better chance at survival. Nothing happened for a while, but on the 9th of April 2015, it is believed that Lucy had set her sights on twin boys, child L and child M. She had been working the day shift when she allegedly gave child L a dose of insulin. When child L started to react to the drugs that were given to him, she is accused of setting her sights onto his twin, where she allegedly injected air into his circulation. Child M came very close to death, but thankfully both boys survived. I honestly can't believe how many lives of these innocent babies she is accused of taking and attempting to take. And I wish I could say it was done there. But she was accused of attempting to take the life of child M 3 times, the first time being on the 3rd of June 2016. Child M was born at 34 weeks on the 2nd of June 2016, weighing only 3.6 pounds. He was born at the Hospital of Hell. He did in fact have a mild haemophilia, I hope I'm saying that right, but this is a blood disorder. But considering all the factors, his clinical condition had been described as excellent. But at 1:05 on the 2nd of June, child N had a sudden dip in his oxygen levels that were extremely life-threatening. Child N then started to scream and cry, and this was very unusual for a baby of his size to be making such noise. Medical experts said that child N's deterioration was consistent with some sort of inflicted injury and or him having an injection of air. Them poor babies, they're in intensive care, barely holding on to life as it is, and this bitch comes along and allegedly gives them more pain. Child N did actually recover, but this was with the help of the emergency doctors and nurses. But 12 days later, when it almost came time for child N to be discharged, except for the treatment of jaundice, Lucy came in to say hello. But when the nurse in the room had turned her back, it is believed that Lucy had said that the baby had lost oxygen and needed immediate assistance with breathing. However, the doctor couldn't get a breathing tube down child N's throat because it was too bloody and swollen to see what they were doing. Around 3 p.m. that day, child N's oxygen levels had dropped really badly to the point it was life-threatening. They again tried to administrate a breathing tube, but couldn't because they found that his throat had been bleeding. Child N was then transferred to a specialist hospital in Liverpool, where he thankfully recovered without the presence of Lucy Letby. This can't be said for child O though. He was one of triplets, and Lucy had come into contact with him on the 23rd of June 2016. He had been in a good and stable condition up until the afternoon, where he deteriorated rapidly and had sadly died as a result. The Wicked Witch of the hospital is not only accused of injecting an excessive amount of air into this baby's nasal tube, but it is believed that she has caused some sort of trauma to child O's liver. Originally, his post-mortem had said that he had died from a liver injury. His death was then certified on the basis of natural causes and abdominal bleeding. But when re-examined by an independent pathologist, in his opinion, the liver damage was not caused by the chest compressions in resuscitation. He had also concluded that child O had been given an excessive amount of air, which was given to him via his nasal tube. And if you think it was left there, no, because it is believed that she went for one more triplet. And on the 24th of June 2016, a day after his triplet twin had been murdered, child P was set to be Lucy's next accused victim. He had started to deteriorate and preparations were made to move him to a different hospital. And when Lucy found out, she made the most unforgettable statement. She said, "He's not leaving here alive, is he?" Soon after, child P had collapsed and died. This was as a result of Lucy allegedly injecting air into his stomach, which compromised his breathing, causing him to die. I am honestly so mind blown. Why would anyone want to do this to babies? And not just any babies, babies that were in intensive care, that were fighting for their life. This rampage wasn't done there though, and she is accused of setting her sights on her next and final target, child Q. And on the 25th of June 2016, only a day after allegedly killing child P, she is accused of attempting to take the life of child Q. It is believed that she injected him with an excessive amount of air and some sort of clear fluid, which is suspected to be either water or saline. This was injected into his stomach via his nasal tube. He had to be transferred to a different hospital, but he did make a full and rapid recovery. After this, Lucy Letby was put under suspicion with the hospital after too many deaths and too many near deaths had happened, again all in the presence of her. So she had been assigned to clerical duties where she had no access to children or no access to these things that she was using to allegedly kill these poor babies. She remained on them duties until the 3rd of July 2018, where she was then arrested for the suspicion of 8 counts of murder and 6 counts of attempted murder. She was then given bail pending further inquiries. I mean, fuck knows why though, you needed certifying a fucking nutcase the day you walked into the hospital, love. She was then arrested again in 2019 for the suspicion of 8 counts of murder and now 9 counts of attempted murder. She was again released out on bail pending further inquiries. Lucy's final day of freedom came though in November of 2020, where she had been charged for 8 counts of murder and 10 counts of attempted murder. Her trial began on the 10th of October 2022, which is obviously only a couple of weeks ago, but the coward has pled not guilty. During the trial, it was found that Lucy had written a fair few post-it notes and just left them around the house. One of them that was read out in court had read, "There are no words, I am an awful person, I pay every day for that. No, I can't breathe, I can't focus, I'll never have children or marry, I'll never know what it's like to have a family. Kill myself right now, overwhelming fear, I haven't done anything wrong, police investigation, forget slander, discrimination, victimization, despair, panic, fear, lost, hate myself so much, all getting too much, everything taking over my life, I feel very alone and scared. What does the future hold? How can I get through it? How will things ever be the way they were? They won't. I don't deserve to live. I did this. Why me? I killed them on purpose because I'm not good enough to take care of them. I am a horrible person. I don't deserve mum and dad. The world is better off without me. I am evil. I did this." Wow. And that was all on one post-it note. Your brain must have been going a million miles an hour, and damn straight, because you're just about to receive your karma, lady. As of now, the trial of Lucy Letby still continues, so I'll have to update you on a new video if there's any more information or she's been sentenced. But in the meantime, I'd love to hear what your thoughts and opinions are about this case. My personal opinion is that she should have the book thrown at her and never see the light of day again for what she's allegedly done to these babies. But I guess we'll find out. But that's it guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and until next time, I'll see you later. Bye!